Damn it.
Yeah, Lloyd and Neil aren't coming.
No, and Peter. Peter's going to be doing Zoom anyway. Probably Neil, but Neil's in Connecticut, I think he said. Visiting his mother. And Lloyd thought it was easier to do Zoom than have all of us in here because it was harder. Where did my live stream go?
I just talked to him.
Okay, live streaming service. That's my live.
If you remembered anything.
So it should be
I
live.
don't remember anything.
So we're live.
Okay. Thank you. After I snorted. Yeah. Right behind my pocketbook. There we go. That's nice. Where did she lay? Here. I remember something last time.
I'll pull up YouTube one.
It's streaming live on channel 7.
Is it 7 or 11?
Oh,
I don't know.
maybe it's 11.
Oh, yeah, channel 7, yeah.
Is it 7?
I think.
Local access, I'm pretty sure it was 7.
I thought Jill told me 11, but it might have, I don't know.
You might have changed.
And I could have heard wrong. I'm not going to lie.
We actually have two.
Oh,
So, because one was the original educational one. Somebody River took,
yeah, that was 7.
and then they came and they kept that. I think what outside sports or something else. I think that's something different, but it's the same channeling. And then we had ours.
Noisy over there.
Then we got ours. Channel
You're
4.
noisy over there.
Channel 4. Maybe channel 11.
Oh,
I had a tough time finding it, you know.
Yeah, I expect-
They were way high, but Jill said they just changed them down to back what they used to be. That's what she told me the other day. Because I asked her. There's Lloyd. It's Michelle. God, we're gaining.
you're learning.
Technical challenge.
A lot of them are. We are at times, don't worry. All of a sudden it boots us all out. That one night it booted me out and I thought, oh God, we're done. But when it came back up, it was like, never happened. I don't understand it. Because I was thinking I had to sign in all over again, but.
Out how to get it so that it's everybody on the screen at the same time.
Yep.
Took me a while.
People like the door come in with a problem with my signing problem. This is what I need to do is hook it onto a tree and then it's mobile. We all set. Everybody has.
Everybody's got an answer. Saying.
it's funny, Garrett called me. It's been good.
Wow. I know there was a lot of comments about it online.
Sam. Yeah, waiting on Peter.
Whose town is this?
Sam's whipping somebody. You know.
I'm waiting to see what sort of background Lloyd puts on.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
We really like the beach.
You look like the beach, huh?
Do you
Call-
have the northern one? Oh, yeah. You have the northern one.
Yeah. the Northern Lights was really cool.
That would take too much.
What are the windows down, huh?
No, Peter?
Yeah. Lloyd, you playing with your computer or what?
Yeah.
Trying to get it to- I saw
You
Peter, but I
faded out
can't
there
get
for a
it to.
minute.
There he is. There he is. I think we got it.
There you are.
I think we are all here.
Cool. Let me just find our digital agenda here. All right, there we are. Come on. Shrink. All right, there we go. Getting all these things sized correctly on the screen. There we go. All right. So I'd like to call this meeting of the Board of Selectmen, Select Board, sorry, on October 5th, 2020. So first on our agenda is a citizens forum. Anyone here for a citizens forum this evening?
I'm going to take my person hat off and be a citizen.
Can you hear Lori?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, can you hear Lori?
Barely.
Okay, speak up.
Okay, taking my select person hat off and putting my citizen hat on.
Okay.
Ed and I purchased land from the town that had been foreclosed on in bidding auction. You remember that, Peter?
Yep.
There was 2 pieces of property. And Ed is trying to buy it from me, and we're having trouble. We can't get a title insurance on it because there was something done wrong on the deed.
According to Jared.
Yeah, according to Jared, it wasn't dispersed. The liens weren't dispersed correctly.
Ah.
And because of that, they won't give him title insurance. Jared and Mary Costigan have been going back and forth today. There was 2 separate transactions. She's only recognizing that it was one transaction because the deed was one deed for both properties.
Huh.
The original deed. And when the town sold it to us, they did it in 2 deeds. Am I correct?
Yeah. There were 2 separate bids on the property.
Right.
They were 2 separate. Also like to add that Jared's kind of upset that he's been trying to approach this other lawyer for a couple, 3 weeks now. This has been an ongoing thing. And today was the first response he got. So he doesn't want to get thrown on the bus. He's trying, he's been working his ass off. And we've got no response.
And I heard from Jared about the deeds. He sent me what he had given Ed. I sent him, Kristen and I did research. What was done was when, 2016, 16 and 17, it was at the advice of the attorney at the time. Christine did what they told her. Things got recorded. Everybody thought things were okay. Now Jared's saying that they're wrong. So I sent what Jared sent me to Mary. Finally heard back from Mary again this afternoon after I sent her an email and called her. She was a little bit confused. I said, I think there's 2 pieces of property. She thinks there's only 1. So I had her call Jared again, and at 5:08 tonight, she sent me an email, said she talked to Jared. It is still not resolved. Lot 36 was news to him, so he's got to review that and get the bid documents and talk to her. He wanted us to talk tonight and have you guys say that it was okay for us to correct the deed, but we can't correct what we don't know is wrong for sure. Jared's not our attorney, so we really can't go by what he tells us to correct until we hear from Mary.
He told me today that I talked to him. He's actually Ed's lawyer, not mine. Ed is trying to buy this land from me so that I can purchase my home. And Jared was nice enough to talk to me today and told me that the liens were not dispersed correctly. And that's what the whole hang up is.
You're on mute, Peter. I can't unmute him
You're going away there. and-
Yeah, we can't hear him.
Sorry.
You-
What does
Okay.
it mean that a lien is not dispersed correctly?
They turned the lien over to the person that they foreclosed on.
I didn't get that.
It was supposed to be dispersed through the deed office. Kristen, is that how it goes? The registry of deeds.
The registry just records what we give them.
They just record it, okay. There was a bunch of liens on these properties.
That's why it was.
Right.
And we bid on it and we won, and somehow it got screwed up.
But once the town gives up its ownership of those properties, it's my understanding that the liens are then, I mean, that's why town got them in the first place, was because of the liens. And eventually, when the town finally takes that property and puts it up for auction, then those liens are sort of disappear. Is that a correct understanding, or is there something else to it?
But Peter, there was something done in the process that the liens were dispersed, but they were put in the previous owner's name, not ours.
Huh. I thought that you guys just got a straight out quitclaim deed.
We did.
If I remember correctly,
We did.
and that should be all set. But I'm not an expert on this, so I don't know.
I don't know either, but I'm
We're trying
stuck.
to resolve it. And we haven't.
Right. I mean, it seems like it's one of those, seems like it's something to work out between the lawyers on both sides to figure out exactly what's going on and to just fix it. I'm not trying to be difficult. I just don't know the answer or the legal details on how liens get dispersed and what that really means.
And the other issue is the fact that to fix this problem, it's going to cost $400. And if it was the town's issue previously with the lawyer and between the lawyer and Christine, I don't feel we should be liable for that.
I mean, that's a good question. And we'd have to go back, I think, if the town had not released the titles so that they were legal for the next owners, then we need to go back and, I would imagine, fix that, because that seems like something the town should be responsible for if we're holding an auction and selling property. But I really just don't know the ins. So it seems like it's a question of $400.
Mhm.
That's a question. To get the problem fixed so we can make the transfer. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Right.
We need the problem fixed, because if we don't get the problem fixed, he can't buy the property from me. And my home is coming here in 4 weeks.
Right. So, I mean, I guess we just need to figure out what the town, if the town didn't do something right in transferring title of the property, then we need to figure out what that is and we need to fix it.
Okay.
I mean, it's does anyone have anything, does anyone feel differently about that? Because I remember the auction and I remember the properties that changed hands, and it was, pretty straightforward that the folks who were receiving them were getting a quit claim deed on the property, and that was sort of it. But I don't know the ins and outs of all of that. That's not my, that's a piece of law that I don't completely get.
Ed said that we're just learning it now, Peter.
I'm sure. But it seems like mostly in the long run, it's just changing the language and changing and paying the lawyer. That's really a matter of what it seems like to me. But it seems like we need to go back and look at, because it was about five properties that we dispersed this way, that we auctioned off that way. There was one on Walker's Mills Road. There was one that went to Andy Whitney, and a couple that went to you guys, and maybe one other. So we probably need to make sure that we've done it right and figure out how to do it right in the future, if we ever have to do this again.
So, but Jared was wondering if after we get it settled, if we can get the deed done and you guys can stop in and sign it. If we can, because I need it done ASAP.
Sure. I mean, does anyone have I guess what I'm looking for is what is our, I think that would make sense, but it seems like that's mostly just an administrative issue. Like we just need to, the town manager just needs to say, yeah, you guys, this is how it should have been done and you should have signed it this way. Can you come back in and sign it again? It doesn't seem like it needs to be.
Right, but I've got to wait to hear from Mary. And her and Joe's got to get on the same page of
What is,
who, what, and where.
yeah,
Right. But it seems like that's what it needs. Seems like the two lawyers need to come to agreement
Right.
that the paperwork is done right. And then I don't see there any problem with us coming in to sign them to change whatever needs to be changed.
maybe he can explain it to you, Tina. Yes.
No.
So
Talk
the
loud.
issue is,
You got, yeah.
in 2011, Carmen Lombardo Alexander had a foreclosed as a lien. And here it is, town did. And in 2016, the Swains bought it, October 17th, and it's recorded 5317. I just sent you an email
Okay.
with this, and then on 16 November 2017, a year later, it was quit claimed back to Carmen Lombardo Alexander. We're talking about map 12, lot 7. It's over on the West Bethel Road, you know where Annis Road is? You go slightly beyond there before Bethel Auto Sales, right? It's on the left-hand side. I just spent, half an hour on the phone with the town's attorney, and they want to talk about the north side of the road, which the north side of the road is good because I got kind of peeved, so I spent the next half an hour looking over deeds, and that is the issue. So all we need for the Swains to get title insurance is a quit claim or a corrective deed from the town saying this 2017 deed that released all the tax liens from 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 to Alexander was incorrect. It shouldn't have been done. The town's attorney said she had nothing to do with it. And so.
So so the liens should not have been released at all to anyone, or they should have been released to someone else?
Well, they could have either went to the Swains or they could have been discharged. So the bigger issue is, and this is what the title insurance company is saying, each tax lien creates a separate property interest. So every time you file, the town files a lien, it's a separate interest, which makes perfect sense because if you ever pay a tax lien within the 18 months, the lien gets discharged, right? But if you have other liens on it, they don't get discharged until you pay them. That's why every tax lien has its own, the way the statute's written, it has its own property interest. So a taxpayer has to discharge all the liens. Now, the town of Bethel, after 18 months, can do a tax foreclosure. And so the tax foreclosure is supposed to be absolute, but a lot of times to clean up title, even after that, the towns will discharge, I went through this with some of the other ones, they'll discharge the subsequent liens to clean title. I think there was a miscommunication. I'm guessing that either they quit claim the deed to the Swains to clean it up, or they were going to discharge all the subsequent liens after the foreclosure. So it looks like they've all been addressed. The title insurance company, that's what they're requiring. That's the only reason we're here. The Swains bought it at auction. They bought map 12, lot 7, and map 12, lot 36. I don't think anybody's disputing that. Now we're just trying to clean up the fine details. The town, it was just a mistake. It would have been better if they'd have done nothing than do this deed, this 2017 deed. So that's the issue. All I think the Swains are asking for is for the selectmen to do a corrective deed saying it was erroneously deeded to back to the Alexanders in 2017. And we put it on record, and the insurance company should be good with that. We can move on in life.
Sounds fine to me.
I don't think it puts the town in any detriment. I mean, the town already doesn't own the property, right? So you can't own the property less than you already do. So that's not an issue. And, yeah, the tax map has both, have you owning both parcels. So that's not really in dispute either. It's not like there's somebody else. And my understanding is from Loretta is that the Alexanders never paid anything towards those back tax liens for this quitclaim deed.
Right.
So we reached out to the town's attorney. We've been playing phone tag, I guess. And I don't understand the logic in doing it this way. I was hoping she would have some magic bullet, some great legal doctrine that the first American attorney and I and Chris couldn't come up with. And that has evaded everybody. So I think the corrective deed is the easiest way to go, but I leave it to the wisdom of the board.
Yeah, anyone have an objection to correcting the deed? Any of the select board?
If there's a problem and it needs to be corrected, the transaction, it needs to be corrected.
Right.
And I just don't know, like you all, our attorney and Jared has the knowledge of what it is, the actual thing that needs to, the instrument that needs to be done to correct it. Do we need to vote on it? I mean, what's our authority?
I don't know what I'm getting at. I mean, it just seems like we should maybe vote to let Loretta continue working with the lawyer to fix the situation.
Because theoretically, you've already given, right, in 2016, you already gave authority to do all this.
Right.
Right? I mean, Chris, when we do a deed after.
I mean, that seems like the most expedient way to deal with this is since Loretta's in every day, she can just move it right along as fast as it can go pending, the town attorney.
And then have the selectmen come in individually to sign it so that we don't have to wait for another meeting.
Sure. I mean, we can come in and sign. That's fine.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Is that okay? Are we all set?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry it had to come to this. But
Yeah, really.
If you want to
Yeah.
put that in the record.
Yeah.
So, Sean, another email with some.
Okay,
Thanks,
perfect.
All right. Next on our agenda is approval of minutes from September 21st.
the correction would be initiated by our attorney, right? Since it was ours.
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
We're the conveyor. of the
Right.
property,
Right.
So, okay.
Right, and
You
she's
could put
the
it
one
on
who
the
told us to do it that way.
That would be very much appreciated.
Say what?
Sorry. I'm gonna read it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enough to be on.
I only have so much power.
Thank you. See ya.
See ya.
See you later.
Minutes from September 21st.
I'm putting my hat back on.
Right.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for September 21st.
I'll second.
Okay. Yeah. Any further discussion on the minutes for September 21st? All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Oh, we have to roll call. Sorry. I remember.
Good job. We talked about that.
Lloyd,
Pass it on.
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
and Lloyd.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor. Next, I'd like to open a public hearing for a victualer's license for Freshies, which I believe is a food truck serving smoothies and fruit bowls.
Oh, good. I could have one right now.
Any discussion from the public?
It just says it's,
Its physical location is various. Do we have any more information about that?
He was planning on parking down by Nabos where, what was it, Hungry Mama used to be? But he thinks he will probably move around. He might go up to the mountain too, so he didn't have anything specific. So, but his first plan is down by Nabos.
Do we have a new form? Are there new items on there? Or it's just
No.
these different? Looks different.
Could be the same form.
All right,
No planning board determination or approval.
No.
so hearing no further discussion from the general public, we'll close the public hearing and move to the select board. Can we get a motion to approve the victualer's license for Freshies?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Wait, sorry. Lloyd,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Michelle,
no,
and Lori? Can't hear you, Lori.
Yes.
Okay, that's 4-1 in favor. Thank you. All right, items for discussion and possible action. I believe we're going to table the Recreation Committee, Loretta, or is that back on?
Yeah, no, we can table it because I have not heard from Mary yet.
Okay. That was again rewording, checking with the lawyer on rewording of the Recreation Committee, Recreation Board.
Correct.
Next item is to discuss.
We are. Sarah's going to be, Sarah has given it up. So busy with planning and assessing. So we put an ad out there and still waiting on from the attorney. And I did talk to the other 3 towns that have people on the board, and they had a discussion a couple of years ago about all the changes that were brought up. And they said they all met here and everybody was a go with it. That's about all I can tell you right now.
Well, I think
So,
I was reading through the documents. Thank you very much for getting the job description out. And with the opening, I think it also provides an opportunity. I'm not sure if the job description, if it's the same job description that we want, if we wanted to put more into it. The proposed changes effectively they're trying to make like a rec board, and a rec board have more authority, but yet the job description is still more part-time I think it's just an opportunity, and maybe we can put it on the agenda next time, whether we hear from the attorney or not, just to talk about it some more. And I'm glad you're having it checked out by the attorney too, because I just don't think, the way the town manager manages the staff, the way it looked like as though, it was not including the town manager in the ordinance change. And it's just, by statute, the town manager has certain responsibilities. So I'm glad you're having it checked out by her. But I just see it as an opportunity to talk about it and see what we want out of the rec committee or rec board. I know the proposed changes for the ordinance is trying to make it more of a department. Is this position going to be full-time, or is it just going to stay part-time? It would be interesting to hear back from the committee too, now that there are these changes happening. What's the stakeholders wanted to, the vision for it.
Oh, Peter, you're unmuted again.
Sorry, keeps happening. Next on our agenda is discussion of having ordinance work done by AvCog. That would specifically be ordinance work on sign ordinance, and there was something else. What was the other ordinance we wanted them to take a look at?
Site plan, we've talked about quite a few different ones, but
and if I'm not mistaken, we get a certain amount of work from AvCog because of our membership in the organization. Anyway, legal work anyway, and then their legal work rate is fairly reasonable beyond that if we need more time or help. So thoughts about using AvCog to look at our sign ordinance and make sure, for example, that it's in step with the US Constitution, and looking at our site plan ordinance as well.
Can we have a proposal next time of what we're looking for them to do? I think the ordinance, I think the planning board had a list of items.
they did.
And we had some items.
You did. I threw this out there because I think the sign ordinance is a big issue right now. Everybody seems to be having problems with it. And I thought I had checked with AvCog before when we talked about site plan and all the other stuff. And I just thought with the sign ordinance, it would kind of keep a lot of the town politics out of it and have somebody with, how, what do we want to call it? Content neutral. Maybe AvCog's got more than what MMA had on their site. And when ORC had talked about their changes and stuff, Sarah has sent out messages, and not only 2 out of the however many people on the committee have gotten back to her. So I just thought to get things moving, go with AvCog for at least start out with the sign ordinance, the site plan. Planning board has been using Jim Katsifikis through Thompson and Perkins, I think, or attorneys. And he has found some issues with our site plan, and he could streamline it. If we didn't have AvCog do it, we could probably have Jim do it. But I just figured to keep the ball rolling a little bit quicker for the sign ordinance was to go through AvCog.
And for the content neutral, and I know like Toby had some little things for the sign ordinance as well. I don't know, unless they have a scope from us, if they'll catch everything. But I guess for content neutral items for the sign ordinance, it'd be a good review for them. But I think we were looking for some clarification on some of the event signs, also banners and such on utility poles. And I think there were some little nuances. I think Toby might have a little list himself on some of those things.
Yeah.
So just how,
He would be in contact with them also.
yeah, if we can have a list of that.
Yeah. You mean like Toby's list? Or?
Well, it's just a scope of work that we're going to ask people to do. And what running list do we have of everything?
I haven't done any running list. I'm getting permission to talk to AvCog on moving forward. That's what this is. I had just asked them what we got for free hours and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that stuff
no,
to move forward.
That's great.
That's as far as we've gone.
Yeah, and I think the next thing is to lay out a scope of work, period. And then we can divvy it up against the, to the various pieces. And I don't think we've had a follow-up discussion with the ORC either. At one point, they just kind of, I would say, quasi disband and wanted to be called something else or have their direction clarified, and maybe that can be a future discussion too.
I believe that was the last email that Sarah sent out that didn't go very far at this time. It was probably I don't know, 3 months ago now with all the COVID stuff. That has thrown a wrench into everything, it seems like.
But it gives a chance for us to regroup and get our lists out and prioritize and divvy up.
Is there any more information it would be useful to have from AvCog at this point in terms of, I think you've already had that discussion with them, Loretta, like what we get for free and what we have to pay for and what their rates are, but yeah, that's, I guess, is there anything, if we're gonna put together a list and potentially vote on it, say, for example, the next meeting, so that we can move ahead with some of these things, I guess that's all we probably need to do. And we can then we can send the pieces out to the various places and see how much what they think it's gonna take and what it's gonna cost. All right, any further discussion on that item? All right, next we have a sewer abatement request that I believe, did everyone get a chance to read that one? Any discussion on whether to approve or deny that abatement request?
I had some thoughts about it. Kind of aware that I think we were pretty strict with the rebates that we've given out in the past. But I tending to rethink a little bit about it, especially like in this particular case. And I know that we've had other cases. I mean, we gave rebates for the people who watered the lawn on Chapman Street, and we've given waivers and such to like renew and such. But I think in this particular case, there hasn't been excessive costs because of this. I mean, we still pay the personnel that are there, the plant's still running, we still have capacity. I mean, those costs are covered. That's why we have the base pay payment that we have, because it goes up to 1,500 cubic feet. So I'm rethinking this and I'm inclined to give an abatement.
Would you like to make that motion?
Sure. I move to abate sewer bill for property 39 Mayville for the 4,200 cubic feet, which it looks like the amount is $672.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion?
Yes.
Excuse me,
Go ahead.
question on the one-time forgiveness. Is that a formal policy or
That's through the water district.
the
Yeah,
water district?
Yeah, it has a one-time forgiveness that they do. Sewer, I've never seen anything in particular, but Rick Davis did say he felt like they had to process this water. This isn't their fault, that the person had an issue with their I don't know if it was sink and toilet or whatever it was. It went through the system. He said the other things didn't go through the system. In the past, they went down out in the yard or in the basement of somebody's house, but these went through the system and they had to process it. So Rick doesn't think we should give the abatement. That's just his opinion. But we have no set one-time forgiveness thing with the wastewater.
What's the one-time forgiveness the Bethel Water District has?
I just get a letter from them, which is, you guys got the copy of it, and yeah,
If somebody has a leak, well, one time we'll cover that for them.
well, kind of, that's what it says, to the water district. They've done it a few times, I've seen, maybe 4-ish, something like that.
I think
Yeah.
that's kind of the thinking on here, even though we don't have a definition for one time. I think this would kind of fit it. And this information goes in their file too. So if something like this happens again, we know about it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. And the plant's still processing. It's not like it caused undue hardship. I was just kind of rethinking. I think we were more hardened before.
So the water district excused the 285.75 bill.
Yes,
Or whatever
or whatever they had. The water district credited him 4,200 cubic feet.
Any further questions or discussion? Okay, I'll call a vote. So Lloyd, in favor of the motion to abate?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
All right, and I'm a yes. So 5-0, that passes. All right, next is a review of the interlocal agreement for Bethel Hanover Newry transfer station. And I believe this is just looking at it at this point, and then ultimately it needs to go to the voters at town meeting. Just so we actually don't have to vote on this tonight. It's just a good time for us to take a look and discuss it and make sure that everyone's on board with what we've looked at so far.
Right. I figured I'd share that part now because then you're going to be getting the pine tree, Casella, whatever they're called, the next one soon. I thought we were going to have it last Monday after our last meeting, but they didn't send us that yet. So the next meeting, I'm assuming you'll have that to review too. And the Dean Richmonds. They only sent us numbers. They didn't send us the contract.
Oh, okay.
I looked again today to make sure I wasn't losing my mind.
Is
But
this agreement still in effect now, or?
it's been expired, but we're just kind of doing what we've always done.
Do we extend, is there a formal extension or?
We haven't done that, no. Because this is part of the interlocal agreement, who makes the decisions, and that's the section, I think it's page 4. Decisions and authority decision-making authority, sorry, it's been a crazy day, and administration of contracts. Those are some of the changes. Did I send you guys the old agreement or no? Yeah, I know I sent them out before, but I didn't think I attached one to this because. And then Scott has had the guys at the transfer station stand at the gate and ask people what towns they were from. He gave us a small snapshot of that. Hopefully they're going to do it again. They did it in September. 2 weeks in September, I guess. So metals and construction for the first week, I guess it was just 1 week, on September 5th, the week of September 5th through the 20th. Bethel had 406 people. Newry had 88. Hanover had 69. And then the household and recycling for that same week, Bethel had 727, Nuri had 399, and Hanover had 241. That's people coming through the gate saying where they lived. Scott's going to try it again, just to see, because we eventually want to try to figure out the cost sharing part of it. But this is just and that's providing people know where they own property, because some people think they're in Bethel and they're in Nuri and vice versa.
I have to confess, I was trying to remember where the transfer station is located, if it's Bethel or Newry.
Well, that's how this all came about, because they got shut down by the state and had to send a garbage somewhere. So that's how it's.
Because we had dumpsters at the town office for a long time, and recycling at the town office parking lot, which was legal at one point, and then it wasn't legal, and oh my God, it was a big mess. But the original was started when Scott Cole was here, Sylvia Gray was in Nuri, and Kristen's dad, Dwight. They set it up, and I don't know how the numbers all came about, but they've all been the same ever since. But Nuri and Bethel, I think, are pretty darn close if, the allocation of costs. The board didn't really touch on that yet because we're not quite sure how to touch on that. We have another meeting on the 21st. So.
One of my questions, the only changes, proposed changes that I've seen is adding 14, and then there's a change in the next paragraph, administration of contracts. Is that so far the only proposed?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there might be more proposals coming, because that was my big thing with the contract, was to update the numbers.
Yeah, but we're not sure how to update the numbers, how to get good. We tried getting stuff from Casella, and it was, well, I can't say we got stuff, but it, and it was very, I don't know how to describe it. Not user-friendly, I guess is the word I want. So we asked them for more numbers that they just sent us last week. So hopefully at the 24th meeting, we'll, or 21st. 21st.
Check in with Scott about it. My Scott, and he actually talked to me about it a little bit, and he said yes. The percentages that came up, because they actually sat down with Dwight, and they got percentage of, because that's when Dwight was doing everybody,
right?
And so it was a little bit, not as much as there is now. So it was a good faith estimate.
Yeah.
All the household waste, you could tell who had all the commercial waste.
Yeah.
And it would be really interesting. So from there, they built it around it, because I'm kind of interested in those numbers as well. It says here, based on year-round population, but there's a certain population, of value and second home taxpayers and such. And how does that affect it all?
Right.
Okay.
It seems like they did, the collecting data at the gate's really useful. I was actually a little surprised by the data that you had for the gate, but it would also be important at the gate to note who's coming in with, full-size trucks and who's coming in with, a carload for the construction, who's coming in on a professional basis and who's coming in not on a professional basis. Because I would say, by and large, we really need to rein that in and enforce the use of dumpsters on construction sites, and not have that coming into the transfer station.
Right.
That should be paid for by the contractors.
I've been saying that for years.
The contractors have been getting away with it for years.
Yep.
So I don't know if you guys have had conversations with the guys down there involved, because there's several things impacting there. One, we have a larger population. The equipment's slow. Maybe we need to be open another day.
Oh yeah.
There are private garbage removal services. Some people aren't going through Casella. Some people have property management companies, and so they are effectively being the collector and then just coming to the transfer station and dumping it. So there's different things happening. But I just had a question on, I was a little confused on this proposal here, number 14 edition. It says option 1, were there option 2? Was there an option 2? There's 3 options, isn't there? Maybe it was option 1.
Hang on. And I didn't bring the whole note thing.
There's some other things. I mean, if this is the one that the committee is recommending, just a couple of things here. I mean,
No, we just threw it out there for, this is a very, very beginning.
because
Yep.
there already is that authority by the board. I mean, number 5 already gives that authority to the board.
Well, I think they contradicted itself in there somewhere.
And then adding the staff as members, I mean, they're ex officio members to the board anyway. And I'm not sure how it works of having staff on the board as well. I'm not sure the legalities of that. And then posting the agendas and that piece, I think, is probably more of a bylaw thing. I mean, it's a public meeting, so you'd have to do public disclosures anyway.
I don't know what our other options were. I didn't bring my minutes from the meeting, my notes from the meeting. I should say minutes because we didn't have minutes because we didn't vote on anything. But that's why I put it out now, so we could, so you guys could review it and send in ideas, questions, concerns, so we could move forward, because it's been thrown out at our meetings. We should have scales for when construction debris comes in. We should stop paying for the pickup at all the businesses in towns. We should have almost like an easy pass at the gate to let people come in, because I know at one point there was people from Rumford stopping in because the lady happened to say it when she was in here. I used to want to go to work and I would just stop and drop my trash off because it was on my way. And if you buy a dump sticker, you put it on your car and you move to another town. Like if I bought one from Newry and then I moved to Greenwood, I could still come here because nobody's going to know the difference because I have a dump sticker. So there's a lot of little concerns, issues.
And we want to change the pricing
So,
of the dump stickers. That's going to raise
Yes.
some apples.
So you guys been getting tonnages, and have you seen like the incremental increase in tonnages?
since the COVID had started.
Anything in the last 3-5 years? Or-
Is that what she sent us the other day? She just,
Yeah.
Erica sent us some information the other day, Wednesday, I think it was. Which I can send that out too. I have not even reviewed it because I was off Thursday and Friday, so.
Loretta, just looking at that decision-making authority, number 14, I think there's just a word. I'm in maybe the third to the last sentence. These agendas shall be posted 1 week in advance of any meeting. And then it sort of just says decisions shall be made. I think there just needs to be a period after meeting. Decisions shall be made, should be removed. And then the following sentence is, any changes in the way the transfer station will do business shall be made with a quorum to be determined as at least one member from each town present, but not less than 4 voting members present. I don't think we need that decisions shall be made phrase. in advance of any meeting during which decisions shall be made, I guess is what the intention was. But I assume in any meeting, if it's worthwhile, decisions shall be made. So we should just get rid of the decisions shall be made piece. See what I mean?
Yep.
Just doesn't read right.
And while we're at it, length of agreement on the first page. Number 3. Should be 2025.
Yeah, we didn't change it yet because we talked about, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, this was before we had our last
I'm
last
sorry.
thing. Yep, nope, but good catch though.
I just brought up
Yep.
the,
This was review. This is why we have review.
I just brought up the, what Erica from Casella sent us, the tonnage. Let me see. Come on, computer. It looks like MSW, the average ton was 10.89. C&D is 7.52. Recycling is 6 ton. Shingles are 10.49 ton. And metal is 6.07 ton. So the cost, the town costs for 2019 were MSW was $40,602.82. The C&D part was $64,670.35. Recycling was $4,872. Shingles was $4,223.13, and metal was $44,45.40. Well, for a grand total of $110,145.17.
What was that time frame?
2019. And then they put the estimated cost from October 1st, 2020 to 9/30/2021 is going to be a total cost of $137,542.47. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a big increase too, $27,000.
From when to when?
This is October 1st, 2020 to 9/30/2021.
Next year, this year's,
Yeah.
next
It'd be
year, this
interesting to
year.
get the history of the increases.
The biggest increase is in the C&D.
I'll send you guys all that tomorrow, that
Yeah.
email.
And, the recycling. The recycling is $20,000 more
Right,
in this coming year than last year.
because right now we can't send it to China because they're not accepting our recycling
Right.
anymore. Some towns aren't even recycling anymore for now.
Well, I'm thinking you can't none of the plastic recycling is going, but I'm guessing there's still some people somewhere doing paper and cardboard in the United States.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Must be somewhere, but yeah.
But that's just the formula they sent out, so.
All right. Any further discussion on this agreement? Again, we're just discussing it at this point. We're not voting on it or anything like that.
Right. So feel free to send your comments or changes or whatever. And we'll work it into our stuff.
All right, great. So next up is report of the town clerk.
I received my ballots on Thursday. We got 368 absentees out in the mail on Friday. And in-person absentee voting started today. We probably did another 60 or 70 people today. It was really busy in here today. Very, very busy. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you.
The early voting was today or got out the absentee?
No, we got out the absentees Friday. Early voting started today.
So,
Yeah, so the office was very busy today.
That's a lot.
Yeah. I
So
know.
we had 378 was our total, but they can still ask for absentee ballots.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you can vote until the Friday before. So, yes.
All right, report of the town manager.
I want to thank Kristen and all the girls in the front office because they've been going nuts with all this absentee stuff. Totally crazy. I look up and if there's always somebody up and going into the vault to get, I mean, they just been going crazy. It's like, wow. Because she's had more absentees than we had voters in Nuri, so, you know.
Maybe no one will come on the voting day and you'll be done by then.
Maybe. Keep that thought, but I don't think so. But I do say that the Democrats, Republicans, and whomever, everybody that keeps sending out all this information to the elderly people is not helping anything. It's confusing them, poor people.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's sad. I talked to Jared a little bit about that today. On my manager's concerns, Toby's going to talk to DEP about the boat ramp down to Davis Park. He sent an email out. I forgot the lady's name. She's going to check with somebody else at DEP about it. The LED streetlights, we're still waiting. They're waiting for the lights to come on, to be delivered, not to come on, to be delivered. Sorry. And then she'll figure out when we're going to be on the list. The franchise agreement stuff that I emailed you all, that was a little tricky in their verbiage. Everybody wanted the homes per mile changed. They would only lower it to 15, but then they wanted people to commit for 2 years. So that's still hanging out there. Our front entrance, people are still raving about it. Peter gave me a good move today to talk to Portland Glass and Twin Town Glass about the door, possible new door. So that's on my list for tomorrow. I weren't going to attempt it today. What else? Oh, I did kind of threw out trying to get some information about a possible meeting hall for the town, either at the Ethel Bisbee site or something, because it's not looking like we're finding too much funding for, unless you get a loan and stuff, to redo Ethel Bisbee or tear it down and rebuild or whatever. We do need a meeting hall in this town. It'd be great if we could do the upstairs, but that's about as much money as doing a meeting hall, if not more. But anyway, the number was thrown out to me was like crazy money because right now the building supplies are through the roof. He said between $200 and $250 a square foot for just a meeting hall. I just threw out a meeting hall for 400 to 500 people, bathrooms, storage, and maybe a couple offices, just to throw it out there. But it was crazy money. So I just thought I'd, just try to get some information and so it didn't fall off the radar. Market analysis was supposed to get hopefully this week for the old water district building. Trying to get people to do that. Everybody's busy as all get out. So Lindsay, I want to say Pitcher Gagnon, said she'd try to fit us in this week. Maiden names, I just want to stick with the maiden name. I think that's about it right now.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, next up, Selectmen's concerns, comments, ideas, and goals.
We got, source for it, yes, the second meeting a month. It doesn't seem like we really need them. Can we revisit that at some point? Or do we have to wait till the first of the year?
No, I think we can revisit it whenever we want. I too find, especially, I have to, it's hard for me to get back for this meeting because I'm usually out in the woods with kids until 6:30 on Mondays, normally, but I have to sort of abandon them. So I had a kid lost in the woods today and I'm in this meeting. But that's just the way things work. I mean, there were other coaches out there to deal with that, but it would be, well, I don't know what else, what's looming for later in October, Loretta?
Off the top of my head, just the transfer station stuff, ORC. Rec board, yeah.
Is there anything that we need to do at that meeting vis-a-vis the election?
No.
Okay. So, I mean, if people are feeling that way, I don't want to, I'd entertain a motion to cancel the October 19th meeting and just go back to the November 9th meeting. If people want to discuss that, or if someone wants to make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing no further discussion, take a roll call vote. So this is just to cancel our October 19th meeting and meet again on November, as scheduled on November 9th. So it's just going to remove that one meeting at that time. So Lloyd?
Yes.
Neil?
Yes.
Michelle?
No.
Lori?
Yes.
And I'm a yes as well. All right, other selectmen's concerns, comments, ideas, and goals?
I just think, when can I bring up about the broadband?
Oh, you know what? I had add that to the agenda. Now would be great. Sorry. I said, yes, you can add that to the agenda. I totally spaced it.
Just that it's moving pretty fast, and I'd like to get your guys' feedback, if you have any. So, I've given you a little bit of an update last month about the broadband, the boot camp on a greater level for Western Maine, Maine West, putting it on. From there spurred off local committees, of which we are part of, which is the Mahoosic Area Committee. And what the next steps that they're looking to take is to gather information so we can find out really what's going on out there, who doesn't have it, who does have it, what their speeds are, and such, to really kind of map the town. And in order to start gathering that information, there is some pieces to put out about making a case to support looking into internet service and broadband, and also a survey which will be available electronically as well as in paper. And then there is a speed test link, which then automatically, once you take the speed test, that speed test will map it to your location. And I just wanted to see, are you the feedback from you all? Are you have any issue with us, putting it out there, encouraging people to participate in this, to get this information? It would look to the town office to help a little bit with the PR, to post it on our website, Facebook, and actually, if people did paper surveys, if they could return them to the town offices, including Bethel. So there'll be a little bit of that to be asked from the town office. And also, I mean, do you guys want me to keep participating on our behalf? Do we not want to participate? Do you think we're ready to put it out there and ask the townspeople what they think about this, gather information? So just looking for your feedback.
And I have heard from Mia Purcell about this. Today I got an email from her to send out the speed test thing. So I did add that to the Facebook page and sent it to Christy. I got it late this afternoon. Sent it to Christy to put on our webpage. She hasn't done that yet because it was, like I said, late. And Mia did ask for addresses, how she could get addresses and stuff. And there used to be something in Trio that you could pull. I got to pick somebody's brain that I used to work with on how to get them. I told her I couldn't do it today, but I thought I could try to get her some addresses. Yeah, but there used to be a way you could pull addresses and like send it in an Excel thing, but okay. So
I think it's PDF
and Excel, okay. So I'll have to check that out, but she did ask for information and she did ask if they could bring them back here. She'd provide an envelope for us to put them in.
So she got a little bit ahead of me.
Yeah,
So I
she did.
apologize for that,
No,
but
that's
I
okay.
just thought it would be fair to ask you
Yeah.
all if we want to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that thank you, Michelle, for doing that, for going to that, and for being part of that. I think it's critical, and it needs to come from this board to move the town ahead with broadband and high speed internet. It's where we're headed. It's going to determine the future of the town. If we have it, things will happen, and if we don't, bad things will happen. I mean, including, we're seeing it right now. We're having to try to run schools with Zoom meetings in pandemics, and if those kids don't have access, they're going to fall behind.
And Mia did say that she was, Michelle has attended every meeting that they've had. She's been pretty happy about that because some towns don't have anybody supporting them. So.
Yeah, I mean, I just think for the town of Bethel as a straight out, part of the future and our competitiveness as a town in the world, it's really critical.
I do agree.
I think we all agree on that.
So we use it more than we think.
Yeah.
Accelerated.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so I guess I take that as a
A resounding yes.
keep going, and as long as folks at the town, if you guys don't mind helping out a little bit.
Yep.
That'd be
Yep.
great.
And I did forget, I did hear from Sarah Southam again about the plastic bags. I'm not quite sure. I sent it off to Michael Lichtenstein, the staff attorney at MMA that I had talked to before. I am waiting for him to reply back to me. But at one point he said that all state statutes, state whatever it is, I don't want to say statutes, but. So we're just kind of hanging out there, and I emailed Sarah back. So she didn't think I was ignoring her. That's not my intent.
Yeah, ignoring Sarah is never a good idea.
Poor woman. No, I'm sure it isn't. Yeah.
Questions to help with the franchise. Thank you for getting that information out because that's helpful with this. We haven't signed a contract
No.
yet, so that's probably, I think that's good. So we
Yeah.
don't lock in. So we
Right.
Look at other providers, having time to compete against each other. That help us. And then the second thing is when I was going back and reading about the franchise, at the October meeting in 2019, and it was the last time we had some of this stuff come up, it said that we were going to look into a Connect Maine grant. We don't participate in a Connect
No.
Maine grant with the charter yet.
Nope.
Okay, good.
Nope.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
I can't remember why that fell through, but I had something Mia. Well,
Okay,
we'd have to ask her.
yeah,
But
I think that's what.
Yeah.
I just wanted to confirm that. Thanks.
I know it's funny how it all, I had just talked to Joel Clark about the franchise agreement, and then I get a email that, that afternoon or that next day about it. And I'm like, holy smokes. That happens a lot around here.
All right. Any other selectmen's concerns, comments, ideas, goals? Wow. All right. Well, let's move on then to approval of disbursements.
I'll make the motion to approve, there is no journals, warrants for 2021 are number 12 and number 13.
They're in front of you and Michelle. Yeah.
Second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right.
Quick question, so on the sand with Tibbetts, we pay out the whole contract at once?
Yes.
Thanks.
All right, any other questions? All right, all those in favor, Lloyd,
Yes.
Neil,
Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Yes. All right, thank you. And next up is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll
Second.
second.
All those in favor? Do we have to do a roll call on adjournment? No. All those in favor, raise your hands. There we go. We're all in favor. I think we're good. All right, thank you very much. Have a lovely evening.
You
See
too.
you all in November, and have a great month.
You also.
Oh boy, we'll know a lot more by November 9th now, won't we?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Maybe. All right. Well, we'll see you later. Don't anyone move to Canada before we can.
No, I'm not moving again.
No.
Too much. Way too much.
All right. Have a good
Bye.
night.